I haven't done a video about what culture in quite a while because, look, you guys get the point. Some pretty mediocre takes are made by what culture. A lot of them are done purely for attention, and I guess that's what this one's supposed to be. I mean, you guys see it here. 10 reasons why Daniel Bryan belongs on WWE's Mount Rushmore. Now, I want to stress this a lot, during this video. Daniel Bryan is a fantastic professional wrestler. Daniel Bryan's had amazing longevity in his career. Daniel Bryan's accomplished a lot. Daniel Bryan is good at what he does. But this says WWE's Mount Rushmore. Not indie wrestling's Mount Rushmore. Not in-ring, work rate Mount Rushmore. No, this is WWE's Mount Rushmore. So when you think WWE's Mount Rushmore, who do you think? You think Stone Cold Steve Austin? You think Hulk Hogan? The Rock? Cena? Maybe, God forbid, Shawn Michaels? Maybe a Triple H? Undertaker? Someone maybe a Kane almost? There are plenty of people you can think of when it comes to WWE's Mount Rushmore, but what culture have Daniel Bryan? So here's the article. This is written by Adam Morrison. Do with that what you will. I don't know the guy, but I'm just reading this article. Daniel Bryan is the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Okay? So yeah, you look at his impeccable runs. Ring of Honor, world champion. PWG, world champion. West Side Extreme Wrestling, world champion. Oh. Well done. Well done. Best Pro Wrestling DVD. Best Pro Wrestling book. Best Technical Wrestler. Match of the Year. Listing Daniel Bryan's accolades. He's going on and on. Then we get to reason number 10. 10. He was allowed to honor his independent bookings after returning at SummerSlam 2010. Okay. So, he was allowed to do some indie shows. Therefore, WWE Mount Rushmore. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, the explanation here, June 2010, they were the Nexus and Peak faction, partially because Daniel Bryan choked out Justin Roberts. Yeah, because Daniel Bryan couldn't control himself, got a bit excited, nearly killed Justin Roberts on live TV. I guess that's just, okay. Bryan was allowed to go wrestle some American Dragon matches in the Indies. So, yeah, Mount Rushmore of WWE Pals. That's reason 10. Moving on. Reason number 9, if this would load. Breaking the record for longest time spent in a single Royal Rumble match. Okay, this one is it's a very subjective one. Some people wouldn't value this at all. Other people, for some reason, see this as some massive achievement. Essentially, in the greatest Royal Rumble in 2018, Bryan came in number 1, and because the Rumble was 50 men, because WWE were trying to appeal to the Saudi prince and Saudi Arabian, that crowd, Bryan lasted an hour and, 16 minutes and 5 seconds. So, I guess because of this novel little achievement that he's Mount Rushmore in WWE, because at a Saudi show in 2018, he camped in the corner in a match and had to sleep for over an hour, that he's better than Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Cena, etc. So, yeah, that's reason 9. We're going to move on now. Reason 8, his final program versus Reigns and Edge. Okay, let's actually remember, let's cast our minds back to February and March. His final program versus Reigns and Edge. What was Bryan's role in that? Coming out every week saying, I wrestled more matches in 3 weeks than Reigns has wrestled in 3 months. I had the lowest ambition score ever recorded, but I still do this because I have ambition. I should be in the main event of WrestleMania because I said so. That's his final program. And, I mean, the fact that they allowed him to be a part of that, I mean, my God, how much of that was him being creative? We don't know the answer as fans, but my word. So, yeah, the final match itself, Bryan Reigns, Edge at Mania, incredible match. I loved it. It's my match of the year. But the actual program, nah, Chief. Edge's promos are good. Reigns' promos are good. Bryan, yikes. So, that was that one there. 7, occupying a March 2014 episode of Raw. Okay, interesting. So because he got a bunch of beards, like this bloke here, this bloke here, this bloke here, this bloke, and because he's in the ring and do a forced yes chant and a forced no chant, and Triple H and Stephanie, because he did that in one segment, he belongs on WWE's Mount Rushmore all time. Okay, who else in WWE history, or rather pro wrestling history, can say that they've done this to such an extent when it comes to, occupying Raw and doing that in the storyline. And also, one thing, what culture, when you don't have ad block on, my god, like, what is this? Like, this is a mess, but nonetheless. So basically, they're talking about the Yes movement, talking about the angle with Triple H, how real it made it feel. Like, okay, a very, very subjective point of view. Then 6, losing to Sheamus in 18 seconds at WrestleMania 28. Keep in mind, this is why they belong on the Mount Rushmore in WWE. Do with it what you will. Essentially, the main point for this one is that the match started it all. And, you can point this match down to Daniel Bryan starting his Yes movement run, starting his run as, getting over with the fans. But is an 18-second loss to an upper mid-card guy in WWE at WrestleMania in 18 seconds a reason to be on WWE's Mount Rushmore all-time? I mean, what a stretch. And then that Talking Smack promo with The Miz is reason 5. Okay. He did a shoot promo segment on Talking Smack. Right. Now, let's look at objectively what this did to wrestling. Now, CM Punk's pipe bomb was the main instigator as far as modern day contemporary WWE and really spurring on and encouraging fans to, support these guys who speak their mind and break kayfabe on WWE TV. Daniel Bryan and The Miz's segment was just like Dolph Ziggler's backstage promos, just like Punk's pipe bomb. This Talking Smack segment was just like that. Is that good for wrestling? Is that bad for wrestling? Personally, I don't think that's good for wrestling. I don't think having guys legitimately breaking kayfabe, doing these shoot promos, and saying that they deserve better, and all this kind of stuff, I don't think that that's that great for wrestling. I really don't. So, this one, I mean, look at this. There's a reason why fans were clamoring for WWE to bring back Talking Smack. That being reasons like Bryan and Miz's segment from the August 23rd, 2016 episode of the show. Now, Bryan and Miz's segment was a good segment. It was better than most of the segments you usually get. But what does that cause in years down the line? Now, 5 years on, we get Raw Talk segments where Peyton Royce is spending 3 minutes literally crying because she deserves better. We get Cesaro cutting a 4-minute promo saying he deserves better. We got Apollo Crews telling Paul Heyman, I deserve better. That's all we get because of this segment. So that's the Talking Smack promo and everything that came with it. Had to address that. 4, staying relevant throughout his entire retirement. Essentially, this whole one can be summed up as he was the SmackDown GM and he was involved in the Cruiserweight Classic. So is that a reason why he's Mount Rushmore all time? Because he was a SmackDown GM in 2016, 2017, saying, Shane, let's put American Alpha in a great match against God knows. Is that a reason why he's Mount Rushmore all time? I mean, to be fair, this is a more valid reason than some of them, but nonetheless, that's reason 4. A bit of a touch and go reason there, so that's reason 4. Moving on, reason 3, Team Hell No in general. This one is a better reason. Is it a reason that justifies someone being on a WWE Mount Rushmore all time? Is Team Hell No and having Daniel Bryan yelling at Dr. Shelby in a backstage segment on Raw in the middle of September 2012, is that a legit reason why Daniel Bryan is one of the 4 greatest WWE superstars of all time? Is that a really legitimate reason why Daniel Bryan's better than Steve Austin, Hogan, Rock, Cena, Undertaker, Kane, Michaels, Triple H, Batista, etc., etc.? Not really, but Team Hell No was fun. One of the better parts of Bryan's career. Genuinely really good stuff. So that's reason 3. Reason 2, the WrestleMania 30 main event. Awesome moment. As far as actual reasons why he belongs on Mount Rushmore, stuff like this is more valid. And really, when it comes to this list, there's probably about 2 or 3 reasons why Bryan belongs in the top 10 all time, this being one of them. But Mount Rushmore all time, it's complete cap. This moment was really cool. What it did for wrestling in the long term, not the best. CM Punk worked the Smarks, Daniel Bryan empowered them, Finn Balor validated them, and this, as I said, this empowered people, the loud vocal minority, to keep speaking up, keep screaming, crying, complaining, voicing their opinion, booing WWE, booing faces, cheering heels because they have great work rate. We're going to get our guys over. This Daniel Bryan moment, as awesome as it was on the night, that's the kind of thing that they inherently encourage. So, in that regard, awesome moment, but look at what it did for wrestling. I don't really know. And then this one, reason 1, his 4th WWE Championship reign, the Planet's Champion. No disputing this. This was objectively fantastic work. This was character work. It wasn't just him going, yes, no, yes, this was actually legit good character work. So, yeah, that's reason one. Overall, this list, 10 reasons why Daniel Bryan belongs on WWE's Mount Rushmore. There's maybe the WrestleMania 30 moment would be a legit reason. The Planet's Champion run would be a legit reason. And I guess you could probably say like the Yes Movement, but that's really about it. That's like 2 or 3 reasons and 2 or 3 things that Bryan's done objectively really well and been objectively awesome moments for Bryan. Where that puts him all time, probably 10 to 20th, anywhere in there. And then if you want to say Daniel Bryan's the greatest indie wrestler of all time or the greatest in-ring guy of all time, totally cool. But the greatest professional wrestler of all time, what about drawing money? What about revenue, merch sales, notoriety, recognizability, these kind of things. The things that Cena, Austin, Rock, Hogan, etc., Undertaker, the things that those guys did so well. Bryan didn't do that to even a length of the extent of the other guys. So that's going to be the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, like, comment, subscribe, on the drill.